could say, is easy pose, Sukhasana. Please find a seated position that's good for you. From here, we're just going to kind of start to warm up the top part of our body. And then we'll be stretching the legs out into different formations to make sure that we can get just a variety, right? Because this isn't for everyone, this position. So I'm going to sit up straight and tall. And that is one thing, no matter where you are, if you can have that spine really nice and long, even if you decide to lay down. But the best way for us to begin a practice and end a practice, and when we come into a lot of our transition poses, is to make sure we can find that nice straight spine. In this case, with the way I am seated, I am sitting, my sits bones grounding into the earth energy there. My legs are open. If this is a lot for you, that's where blocks can come in handy to support you there. And you don't have, the weight of gravity pulling you down. For some of us, that feels okay. Others, it may not. So please, again, listen to your bodies and find that straight spine so we can find that really uninterrupted flow of breath in and out through our nose to begin with, right? We'll do some other kind of breathing as we go along in class today. But for now, if you like, if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes to just take away the distractions of the environment around us. As you breathe, you'll feel your belly expanding. You can get the breath down there. That's a really good sign. That means we've already unlocked some blockages. Because sometimes we get stuck with our breath way up here, and they become shorter breaths, okay? And they increase our sympathetic nervous system, so we get more nervous, and the adrenaline is starting to come out. So let's take a deep down into the belly here. Feel that expansiveness, and feel it contract. Big Buddha bellies here. Bring it in. Notice as you breathe like this, it's taking effort to stay straight in our spines. It's taking our core strength to maintain that long spine. And our breaths, we're extending outward through our ribs, opening up those intercostal muscles. We're taking that breath way high up into our heart space. A few more breaths here, please. And then let's exchange out our legs. All of us have a preference. And again, if you aren't in Sukhasana or different position, exchange your legs out into wherever that is. If you're seated, you're probably in Tadasana, and there's no need to change because you're very much aligned up. And so from here, I'm going to let my right hand come down. I'm going to lift my left one up, begin with that side stretch here. But first lengthen, just like we always want to lengthen the spine before we go into a twist. We want to lengthen before we do a lateral exchange as well. I'm going to hold this for a few breaths, making it more static than dynamic. Bent into my right elbow, my left is stretching over whichever side you started with, right? And my fingers may open up wide, or they just may point just directly overhead there. And I'm going to lift up, inhale. And exhale. Let's take it down. Feel that side really open and lengthening out. Let's do that on the other side. Really reaching up, maybe push down, ground down with that left hand as the right one reaches up, or vice versa. Big inhale. And exhale over. Yeah, feel that stretch. Keep your sits bones grounded evenly as you stretch into that side body, squeezing into the other side. And inhale, lift. Lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, come on down. Now let's flow with that. Inhale and exhale. Rise up. Take it down. Not rushing, especially on that exhale. Really taking it up and taking it down. Inhale, lift. Exhale over. Taking it back up and down. One more time each side, please. And you'll be moving at your own pace. Coming up. Taking it down. Let's take our hands up at our shoulder height here and take our hands onto our shoulders. And let's take some circles here, getting into the shoulder space, getting into our biceps and our triceps a little bit here. Continue with those nice deep belly breaths. And let's reverse the chicken wings here, going around in the other direction. Warmth coming in. As it becomes colder outside, we can continue to warm up our bodies inside. And then extend out, lift up, inhale. Into, or take your hand around your left wrist and come on over. See the difference here. We're not going down as low, but we're really getting that side stretch. Pull your upper shoulder back a bit. Come on up. Lengthen both sides. Take it over. Bring it on up. Exchange. Push away, lengthen. Come on over. Bring it on up. Take it on over. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands come back to shoulder height. And we have our fingers all pointed upward. And let's just begin to pulse here. Push out through the base of your palm as you're pulsing here and feeling that energy, that strength that you're building in your arms by just pulsing here. Building up energy, builds up warmth, and let's take those fingers down. This is also good for the wrists that take a lot of abuse in our day. We take them for granted until something happens to them and, oh, that wrist is pretty important to me. And then just take your fingers out, release your hands down. And now let's change out our leg position a bit. We're going to open up from there, almost to straight legs, not quite. We've got this diamond shape called Tadasana. Yesterday we did this in the chair pose with that second chair. So Tadasana is a nice way to kind of go from this really deep external rotation to a milder rotation, to then moving into those straight legs where we come into sitting in staff pose. So here we're going to flow through here. Exhale, come on down. Let my head release. Ooh, yeah, get into the neck. Bring myself up to my knees. Hold on and let my heart come up. So I'm going to do a wave here, okay? Exhale, coming down. Inhale, sliding up, heart lifts up. Exhale. You want to take those exhales out of your mouth because it just feels good to be releasing like that. Please do. But trying to breathe in through your nose so you get all the benefits of that. And exhale. Although there's benefits sometimes too in certain breath techniques to breathe in and out through the nose or in and out through the mouth. Let's do 2 more of these little flowing sets here. Maybe noticing that your heart opens more and your shoulders pull back more, and maybe you come a little deeper. But you're doing it all with breath, all with control, and all with gravity. When you reach down low now, let's hang here. And let's feel what's going on. For me, I'm feeling it in the top part of my
upper thighs and into my hips, feeling it in my entire spine, letting my chin really come into my chest, relaxing my shoulders, pulling them apart here. Staying strong in my core, even though I'm all bundled over here, because that core, front of the core is attached to the back. And we want to make sure both stay strong and healthy. From here, start to come up slowly. Because our head is lower than our heart, we really want to take that slow rise up. And then when you come up, you'll lift your chin. Your chin will be parallel, shoulders pulling down. And then I'm going to go ahead and let my left leg lengthen out to the side. Now, for some of you, that might be here, or it might be way out to the side. Find out what's right for you, okay? The other one, I'm going to pull back in a little bit into my pelvic region, sitting up again, straight and tall, always finding that. And I'm going to slide down that left extended leg, slide up my right arm and extend it over to this nice side stretch again. And then now I'm not just stretching out the side of my upper spine, but I'm also stretching the left leg or the extended leg, whichever one that might be. Pull my upper shoulder back to release my heart towards you all a little bit more. Continuing to breathe here. Rising up slowly, still with a long spine. Take that hand down and take the opposite hand to that bent knee. Hand comes behind you. Let's take a twist here. Looking behind and keeping that other leg extended out, flexed or pointed, or just let it kind of be. If you don't want to put that extra energy in it, you don't need to. And then bring yourself back to the center again, lifting straight spine. And let's reverse again. Push down, lengthen, and come on back around. Looking over that back shoulder. And taking myself forward. Take a breath or two. And from here, we're going to do one more thing. We're going to begin to walk forward. This is where I love to have a walk, right? Walking forward. You can come onto your forearms and just hang out here. You can keep walking your hands forward and let your head drop down, or you can take your forehead to a block at any height and just let yourself be, and let that stretch now come into the inside part of that extended leg, okay? And just breathe here a few breaths, kind of mixing up today a little bit of gentle restorative to some vinyasa flowing and just some regular hatha poses to just a little combination of a lot of different things today. And we'll be utilizing those that want and can and have some of the different options on our tools in our toolbox as well. And I'm going to go ahead and walk back with a straight spine. And from here, I want to gently bring in that leg that was extended to the side. Let it come in and forward. Release the leg that was bent. And let's just go ahead and take those legs and move them internal, external rotation, kind of that flippy flop thing. It's like someone's trying to get into the class here. And so we're flipping, flopping those feet back and forth, right? And then bend the knees, feet are on the ground, hands behind you, and let's windshield wiper it. Just again, getting that internal and external rotation. And this is just a transition between our one side and the other. I didn't forget about the other side. Although if I forget about one of the things we did, I might be asking for help. But I think I can keep it that long. We'll see. And now go ahead, find your sits bones again. Bring in the opposite foot. So for me, that's my left. And you guys can either mirror me, or you can go figure left, right, or
whatever works for you. I get confused because Zoom shows us one way, Facebook shows us a different way, and I don't want to confuse you guys with lettering, right? I'm going to extend my other leg out. And again, you can keep that flex in that foot if you're ready to do that for the back of your calf and your hamstring, or you can point if you're ready, because that also takes a little more, or you can just let the leg kind of just be, and you don't have as much. And you can also have a bend in that leg as much as you want. If it seems like a lot just to do this, pack underneath here with a pillow or a blanket as well. Okay, we want to make sure we're taking care of our joints. I'm going to slide down that extended leg. Okay, and wherever you reach, might be here, 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 wherever it is. And then I'm going to let my other arm come up and over. And I'm going to be here for a few breaths. Letting that top shoulder pull back just a little bit more. Maybe my fingers activate on that upper arm. And I stay with my breath. So when we do vinyasa, flowing, right, we're breathing and moving at the same time. When we're taking it more into static poses where we're not moving with our breath, but we still want to breathe, okay? Pulling that upper shoulder back just a bit. We also want to stay in good alignment, no matter if we're moving with our breath or holding a pose. And let myself come up really long here. And let myself breathe that arm down. Taking one hand, crossing my center line to my bent knee, other hand behind me. And I think I have a straight spine, but when I push down, I realize I can have even a little bit straighter and longer. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a turn over my back shoulder, looking back behind me. Taking breaths. Big inhale. And exhale, come back around with that straight, long spine, and let's take our twist in the opposite way. Make sure we have that straight spine. Go ahead and take that twist, looking behind. And releasing, coming back forward, 2 breaths here. Getting ready with that block if you used it before, as we begin to move our bodies forward now. Okay, so walk out, and you might just come here because of the tightness here. Stay there. Okay, we never want to outstretch what our body wants to do or where it wants to go. Your arms can keep moving out. You can take them down to your forearms for support. You can find that block and let your chin tuck in to your chest and just relax your head on that block. When we do that, there can be more focus and energy on the stretching of that extended leg and also the external rotation on the bent leg. So take your breaths into those sensations, whatever that might be for you. If you don't have a block and you're feeling a little more lengthening on the back of your neck as well as your heavy head may be hanging. So many options, like the stars in the sky. One more big breath here. And then curling yourself up slowly, coming up, walking your hands back. Chin will come away from your chest. The last thing, once your spine is stacked, one vertebrae on top of the other. And then we're going to sit up straight. We're going to slowly bring in that extended leg so it's forward. Slowly open up that other leg so it comes forward. And let's let both kind of wiggle and jiggle here. And bend with flat feet now. Take my hands behind me. I'm going to go ahead and
come to the left, and come to the right, kind of a little massage on our glutes here as well. Good. And then we're going to go ahead now and start moving up from being in our seated position to being on hands and knees, which will eventually bring us up even higher. So find yourself comfortably placed on hands and knees. So whatever that might be, it seems like my comfort level is becoming ever more important. So I've got these nice big mats, and I've got a couple blankets underneath me. So let's go ahead and actually we're going to come into something called screaming toe. Okay, screaming toe is going to wake up our feet for all of our standing poses. So we're going to have our toes tucked, and we're going to place, maybe you need your knees really open here. You're going to sit back and place your weight so that you start to feel that on the toes, but more so opening in underneath your sole of your foot. So knees can be apart, or you can have your legs together, but be gentle on your knees. So if this is a lot for you, you can sit up higher and just bend into the toes and press into the ball of the feet, right? But as we're here, let's go ahead and do a little bit with our arms so that we forget about our feet. Let's go ahead and inhale, lift, and exhale. Take the hands way behind you. Heart comes up. Inhale and exhale. So let's just float those arms and then take them down. Maybe looking down as the hands come back, looking up. Just kind of flowing with that. Forgetting about our feet. 2 more. One more. Good. Screaming toe. All right, let's come out of that onto hands and knees and go ahead and just tap out your feet a bit. And from here, we're going to do a variety of circles. First, we're going to start with just our hips. And that's hard to do, to just isolate the hips and get them to go into a circle by themselves, okay? See if you can find your hips. See if you can just take them around. And then let's see if we can take it around in the opposite way. Just hips. So you're really working in that sacral area, that sacral chakra area. You're working into your hips, your pelvic region here. And then coming into stillness, now we're going to wag the tail. Take it left, take it right, left and right. And keep going with that a bit, okay? So that your hips are moving now as if you were doing some type of a dance to the left, to the right, okay? And now double, left, twice, right, twice, left, twice, right, twice. One more set. Good. And now full body circles. Let's come on back, go across our heels, take your hips all the way around into circles here with your torso following and your head. And let's take it around in the opposite way. One more time. And coming up. One more thing here in our circles, we're going to make figure 8s, that sign of infinity. So come around, come back, do your 8 the way your 8 will look, okay? But it's usually like 2 little circles stacked one on top of the other. And you probably started in the direction that feels comfortable and right for you, because in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to switch that around like now and see what happens. I know mine usually turns into going back to my original way. because it just seems like there's something that our bodies call us to do that they want to do more than what we're trying to have them do. And one more figure 8 there. Good. And now from here, let's go ahead and do what we would normally do when we're here, and that's some cat and cow. But we're going to do that a little different as well. I want you to tuck your toes, and I want you to come up and come into cow here. And then curl and tuck and come to the flat of your feet into cat. And just try this out a bit. It's a little bit different than we've done before. Using the feet as markers as well. It just adds a little bit of coordination, and it also gets us to work into the feet some as well, like we just did with screaming toes. We're breathing, right? This is our inhale. Exhale, flat feet, curl, tuck around. Inhale, curl the toes, look up. 2 more, please. Coming back into a neutral spine, we're going to now take that cat-cow a little bit differently. So we're going to come onto the toes. I'm going to move up in cow. And then I've come to flat feet, and I'm going to exhale my hips back to my heels and my chin to my chest for cat. Okay, so we're going to go and do this kind of a rocking cat-cow. Coming up into cow, tucking toes, looking up, and then flattening my feet and curl, tuck, round, back of my hips to my heels. Bring myself up and continue. With breath. Only going back as far as it feels comfortable for you. One more round. Coming back up and continuing this cat-cow kind of series here. I'm going to take my hands up a little bit farther than right underneath my shoulders, because we're going to go here into cow. And I'm tucking my toes, and I'm going to come into down dog. Exhale, mixing cow and dog. Bring myself back down to my knees. Inhale, cow. Exhale. And you don't have to have straight legs here. Okay, they can be very bent. Still getting a lot out of straightening into that spine, because we've just done a bunch of spine maneuvers where the spine was not straight in cat and cow, right? So when we pull ourselves back into down dog, we're having our spine straight. It doesn't matter the legs. That's not so important in down dog. It's getting that long spine. Do a few more here. Cowing. And I'm dogging. Down for cow. And up for dog. This time staying down on my knees. I'm going to come into pointer dog here. So my right foot comes back and I stretch it back. And let's just kind of come back and forth on that. Little pulses into that calf, or just holding it back, whichever feels right for you. Or switching between the two. So you can stay right here, or if you like, you can lift that leg up. And if you do, take the toes in, heels out, so your heels or your hips stay more in alignment, okay? Then I'm gonna lift my left arm up into pointer dog. And breathing here. I've never seen my dogs do this before, but I hear there's dogs that do something like this, that point to that dead duck on the ground or whatever they do. All right, pull, 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 and squeeze apart. And then place your left hand down, right knee down. Let's switch sides. So whichever side you didn't do, let's extend that other leg back. And again, either pulsing in and out into that calf muscle or holding back and getting a stretch there. Or again, going back and forth between the two to find something that feels right and good for you. And then coming into more of your still position, lift that right leg up and toes in, heel out to keep that hip down, right? And you're maybe at the level of your hip, maybe you've dropped it down a little bit. So just find what's good for you. Really good here for our glutes. And if you're comfortable, take your right arm up, bicep by your ear. And you can just go back to having hand down and foot down. And anywhere, okay, it's a spectrum. Find where you are on the spectrum. It'd be really boring having music that was just one chord over and over again, right? So we all have to find what's right for us and play our music accordingly. Right hand down, left knee down. And in between here, let's just open up our knees, pull back into a peaceful warrior, forehead down, but we're not gonna stop there. We're gonna slide our hands out, come onto our knees, lift those toes up, let our hips be heavy, looking up here, hanging cobra. Exhale, pull ourselves back. Inhale up, belly drops, hips drop, gaze rises, toes come up, and keep flowing with this. This is the vinyasa flow here. Exhale, and then inhale. Releasing. And receiving. In. Out. And bringing ourselves back now, back onto hands and knees. We're going to do one more thing here on hands and knees. That's why I really recommended having something underneath your knees. We're going to come in to where we were before. Left foot back, right arm up, and you can lift that left foot off the ground, or again, keep it grounded. If so, you won't be doing the following. We're going to go into weather vein here, where I'm just going to take my back foot across my midline, my right arm, my extended arm across my midline, bring it back, and then taking it in the opposite direction. Weather vein here. One more time. One side stretching. The other side coming over, taking a little more balance here, a little more strength. Hand down, leg down. But again, staying just with pointer dog or one hand down and just the foot back, both hands down. Play with what your body's telling you to do right now. Just making these offerings here. I'm extending out, weather vein, opposite hand, opposite foot. Working on my balance. Keeping everything nice and tight, muscle to bone here. Will help me stay balanced. Hand down, knee down. Let's push back into down dog. Exhale. And from here, let's go ahead and start to walk our feet to the center of the mat. But I'm going to take my toes out a bit and my heels in. And I'm going to come into more of the edges of the side of my mat. I'm going to hang and drain here. And if that is a lot, I want some maybe more extension or lengthening of my arms. I can use blocks, all right, to make that maybe more comfortable for me, because the back of your legs needs to be really, really tight. So find what works. And I'm just taking my hips left and right here. So what that's doing is just giving another little stretch to the hips, to the inside of the legs, to the outside IT band of each leg. And then I'm going to bend my knees and let my hands come on top of my thighs. Let my heavy head hang here if that feels okay. Let your neck a little wiggly wobbly, and I'm in a squat here. Then I'm going to press into my feet. I'm going to lift with a flat spine, continue to lengthen my legs, and coming up into a standing position here. And I'm going to go ahead now and bring in my feet so that they're equidistant here and they are parallel and about hips distance, whatever that is for you, right? For men, they have more narrow hips, so their feet may be in farther. For us, we might want to have our feet a little wider, or maybe you're just feeling like you need more stability and you want to open them up even more. That's going to bring a little bit more stability to you, okay? So find what's right for you, your body, your anatomy. And let's press into those feet and find the earth. Haven't been there yet today. Hands are open. Let's just do a few shoulder rotations while we're here. Getting connected with our feet on our earth plane. Making sure that our knees are not locking, okay? And reverse. If there's a little slight bend there, and yet you take all of your muscles, ligaments, tendons, whatever's attaching to that really special kneecap, and making sure there's a connection there and that's staying it in place and not getting all loosey-goosey on us, okay? And from here, let's go ahead and just come up and down. Yesterday, we did this with chairs. If you were here yesterday's class and we held on. Today, let's see where your balance is to do this or take on that chair again or a wall, okay? Getting out the snap, the crackles, the pops in our ankles. If you want, you can start taking your arms, maybe front and back, maybe lifting them up or just keeping them still. But just a little bit of transition time here before we get into few more poses and working up to our peak pose. Okay, float down. And let's make sure those knees are not locked. Make sure your body's not locked. About to do some poses that are we're going to be holding in those warriors. So for now, let everything jiggle. Okay, maybe there's more jiggling than there used to be, right? I used to tell my students in the health classes, they look at me with shock and dismay because I'd say, don't weigh yourself, don't take measurements, just go get in front of a full-length mirror naked and then jump up and down. And if things are moving that aren't supposed to be moving, then that's just where you need to start working, right? That would be that excess weight, I guess. So they would look at me and then I'd ask them next day if they did their homework. So I guess it's a good thing I never got fired for something like that. So let's go ahead and take your feet out. I made it 30 years, so I guess I was doing something right. And still see kids and they come up to me, oh, Miss McGann, I remember you talking about sex education, screaming across Whole Foods at me. So let's stand here. Let's take our arms up, inhale, and exhale over. Inhale up, exhale over. Rising up, exhale. Should feel really open here from everything we've done already. One more set. Take your arms up. Toes are pointed forward, hands come out, shoulder height. So I'm in our 5 pointed star position. Taking my right foot out and keeping my arms there. Keeping that left foot there really and checking to see if I need to lengthen that for my own stance. If I want to shorten it, okay? And then taking a look over that right hand or the hand of the leg that I'm facing here. Pulling myself over, taking a hand down, not pushing on the knee, maybe finding my thigh, my shin,
or I love the block. And if you're using a block, take it on the outside of your foot, okay? And then I'm gonna rise up here into triangle pose, looking at all these beautiful triangles that we've made. And again, taking the shoulders and stacking them. So again, I like that block because it helps me to not think about having to maintain contact, my body to another part of my body, but I can press down into a block. And again, not hyperextending that front leg's knee, all right? And then bring myself up, inhale. And then exhale, take it down. Inhale, rise. 3 more times, exhale. Maybe take it over a little more, inhale. 2 more times. Bring it up. And exhale. Take it on up. And then let's bend into that front knee. So we move from a triangle-legged position into our warrior 2 position. This is 90 degrees behind me, toes are forward, checking into that front knee, making sure it's not wavering inward. And I pull it back and direct it forward, okay? And lowering to that place that feels right for you. So from here, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Flow here. Your breath, your pace. Two more times, please. And staying here in warrior 2, take a look over, take a look at that front knee. Mine started to waver in. I gotta make sure I keep strength there to have it moving forward. Straighten in that leg there and take myself back. Exhale, hand comes up, other one wraps around or down that side leg. Come on back. Exhale. Inhale. 2 more times. Exhale. And taking those toes that were facing away back towards the front. And now I want to bring in bring in heels, take out toes and come in and just bend into my knees and legs a bit because I've had both of them straight until I went into warrior 2 there. We are going to do the other side, but just make sure you're taking care of yourself and we don't just do one thing over and over without reminding ourselves that there's another part of our body that's needing attention. Okay. From here, place ourselves low, left shoulder forward, take a look over your right shoulder, and bring yourself back. Right shoulder forward, left back, take a look. Bring myself back, come on up. And from here, take my toes forward again. Yesterday in our chair class, we spent a lot of time paying attention to where our feet are present on the earth plane because that makes a difference in our poses and our alignment and our daily life and how we walk through space. So this leg, I'm going to keep the toes pointed towards you. The other, I'm going to take the toes and face them towards the edge of my mat. Okay, I'm going to extend my arms out long, maybe find a little more distance here if that feels right. Maybe using that block again for that triangle pose, finding myself here, pulling myself over and taking hand down, not on the knee, because then we end up pressing into that, okay? So either above or below that joint or hand on the block. Taking the other arm up. And let's hold in here for a few breaths as we did before. Again, making sure that that front knee is being protected by all of the tissues that surround it. We're not hyperextending, overextending that front knee. Any kind of pressure, your hand can stay here. And you can take it over here too. Stacking shoulders. And then rising up. Let's do 4 times flowing into that. Okay, so here, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, rise. 3 more times. Exhale. Fingers can stay straight up, or they can follow on over in that direction 2 more times. Bringing ourselves up. Bend into this front knee. Find its alignment, find its placement, right hovering on the top of that front ankle there. Making sure that it's pulling more out than in, all right? Taking a look over there for warrior 2 here. Find ourselves. And then let's inhale. And exhale. Keep going. We'll flow with this a bit. Two more. Follow your breath. Landing in warrior 2 here. Breathe a couple breaths. And then straighten that front leg. Back into more of triangle legs, or depending on how this back foot is, it could be a pyramid leg, but right now it's more in that triangle because again of the way feet are placed. And I'm going to lift up here. Come on down. Exhale. Really bringing in that side stretch. Inhale. 3 more times. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more time, I think. Exhale. Find myself here. Take my toes forward and walk in, but not all the way. Just about here, okay? Where we make a triangle that's not as broad. Take my toes out and my heels in. Bend into my knees 1 more time. This time, let me bend into my elbows as well. And get a straight spine. Take a look straight down into the mat so that my cervical spine's in alignment with the rest of my vertebral column there. And let's just hang here and breathe a few breaths. Feel the broadening of your sits bones as you continue to let that tailbone kind of radiate backwards. Press down into your feet and you're going to feel that even more. A couple more breaths here. And then push through your feet, straighten your legs, bring your body up, and let's heel toe or bring our feet together all the way. Okay, so now we are not as balanced. You notice that? Because look at this heavy part of our body, we don't have anything underneath it to really balance it. We're taking our feet together. We're going to do a little squeeze here. Just squeeze everything into the center. Take a couple breaths as we're squeezing. And then exhale, release that squeeze, bend into your knees. And we're going to come forward. If this is a lot for you, take that clock and stop at any point, okay? If you can, you continue coming down, lifting up your heels and coming into curl tuck round yoga ball here. Forehead to your knees. Good. Lifting ourselves up. Let's come onto our seat again, onto our hips. And we're going to do a little work here on the ground before we come into our last resting and our namaste for the end of the class. Maybe today we'll do it a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and slowly come down, holding onto my knees, maybe working my core, slowly bringing myself back on down, letting my spine connect with the earth. It feels good. We haven't had this yet today. And having my feet about hips distance. Let my hands come down, shoulders roll back, chin tucks just a bit. And I'm going to keep my feet connected to the earth. I'm going to inhale, lift my hips up. Exhale, take them down slowly here. And if you want, your hands can come downward, and that helps support you here. So you're not taking any weight into your neck. You could lift that head up because there's no weight coming in. Slowly down. A few more with your breath here. As you come down, make sure you get all those vertebrae to come into that lumbar spine. Make a connection there and kind of erase that natural curve. Keep going. Two more, please. Good. And then from here, let's take our right knee in and take our fingers interlaced under our right kneecap. And just bring that right knee in towards your right shoulder into that ascending forward. Okay. Using your bicep strength here and just feeling that nice kind of mushiness there. And extend that left leg out. And then hold on to your right knee and let that right knee cross the midline and come over. Stretch in again into that outer hip. Into a twist and bring that leg back and bring it in one more time. Pull it in. Chin to chest. And exhale, extend it out. Long to meet the left. Left one pulls in, comes off the ground and in towards your left shoulder or the opposite shoulder, whichever one you started with. Taking breaths here. And taking your left hand to the ground, right hand stays on that left knee and let it assist by coming over into a little twist here. Maybe taking a look over your left shoulder to your left hand. And just releasing into that nice twist there. Coming back around to the flat part and let's interlace and pull one more time. Bring that knee in. And taking both knees in and let's take a big hug. You might want to lift your head off the ground to begin with and shoulders off the ground and curl and tuck and round into yourself like we did when we were standing up into our little yoga ball here. We've got another one going on here. And you can take your shoulders and your head back down to the ground. Cross those ankles and let's take 3 or 4 rolls up, massaging the back of your spine, not coming into your cervical spine, okay? You guys, caution there. And bring yourself up. And let's take ourselves around and find any place that feels comfortable for you. We started in Sukhasana. Maybe you want to come into Baddha Konasana with your soles of your feet together if you like. And that way we don't have to worry about what do we crossing first, because this is a symmetrical pose here. Okay, we drew a line. Everything on this side is doing the same thing as that side. And that's good really for a lot of bodies, especially bodies that may be dealing with sciatica and such, because certain poses can really aggravate that. So those are things like at the beginning of class, if you guys are dealing with those things, let me know so I can give you those modifications. So for instance, someone with sciatica would not be doing this. They would be coming into more of a Tadasana with the straighter legs, okay? So please let me know, and I will do my best to adjust class and give modifications for you all, okay? So here we are. If you are in Baddha Konasana, you can just go ahead and butterfly those legs a bit and just check into your hip connections there. And if you are with a wall, you can take your back to a wall, which would be really nice here. You can take blocks underneath you and let your legs just come in on those blocks, right? Finding the right height that feels good for you. This would be the highest height. And then maybe here would also add some support. And again, not needed, but just suggestions, something to play with. Also blankets could roll up and put underneath. So let's be here with a straight spine. Again, asking our engagement of the core to help us with that straight spine, because we really all want to go like this. I know, I do too, okay? So I'm going to lift through my heart, pull my shoulders down, extend through my spine, take my hands to heart center here, to Anjali Mudra. Breathing in beautiful heart energy. Realizing that this heart space, there's about 108 energy lines that come into our heart all at once. That's why our heart is the center of the chakra system. So powerful, so beautiful. 108 energetic lines coming together, and you feel that in your hands as your hands are by your heart space.